Hello, and welcome to our podcast, An Unconventional Teacher. I'm your host, Jon Hinthorne. This podcast explores the unconventional methods that make our classrooms and teachers great. We hope to uncover why it is and how it is that the unconventional ways of yesterday are now becoming the conventional ways of today. Now let's begin. Okay, welcome to episode 3 of An Unconventional Teacher. Again, I'm Jon, I'm your host, and this episode will be just me. No interview, just me. I want to be clear on these episodes where it's just me, that this is a pay it forward project. So my hope is that I'm sharing with you things that I've learned from other people. You know, I put a few twists on it and you'll see my different flavor, a little Hinthorne flavor, if you will. Some of my students call it that. But for the most part, I'm just sharing with you things that I've grabbed that I think are worthy of a podcast. So hopefully you enjoy. Today is virtual learning in 2020, and I'm going to share with you 4 ingredients to make a remote learning lesson maybe a little bit better. Let's get right in. Ingredient number 1, connection. Have a do now, have a personal question. My gosh, don't most of us do that already? It's pretty surprising how many times I forget to thank each and every one of my students for being there. They have a choice. Sure, some of them are logging on and going and doing whatever, playing a video game, going on their phones, logging out, tuning out. But the majority of my students are tuning in. You know, they're feeling engaged with those personal questions at the beginning. We do breakout rooms so they can go and talk with each other. We're trying to have a sense of connection at the beginning of each of our lessons. The second ingredient is humor and joy. Oh my gosh, could this be more important? Humor and joy, using puppets, and I have this little sock monkey that I use in my classroom that I pass around. I bring the sock monkey out every once in a while. His name is Monito, little monkey. Telling jokes, you know, I'm not funny at all, but I try to use my dad humor, my dry humor to try to be funny, you know. I'll get occasional laughs and smiles and to lighten the mood. Try to show a window into myself, right? And have some humor and have some joy. Oh my gosh, have some joy. It's not all Eeyore and somber and, you know, of course that's the reality for the pandemic right now, and the reason we're not in front of each other for that important safety risk that would happen if we were. My goodness, that's heavy. A lot of our students are by themselves in their own little classrooms, right? Their rooms, sitting on their beds, logging into each of the classes. Can you imagine if that was your high school experience? I can't. I try every day to try to imagine that. So humor, oh my gosh, jokes and joy and funny pictures and videos. I use Senor Wooly. If you don't know Senor Wooly, check him out at senorwooly.com. I'll put a link in the explanation of this podcast. But my goodness, he's got funny videos and they're hilarious, and they connect with high schoolers and middle schoolers and really just younger students too. But they make the learning of Spanish and world languages fun, right? And every single one of you listening probably tries to inject fun and play. In fact, one of our interviewees is going to talk about fun and enjoying ourselves. If we're not enjoying ourselves, our students aren't going to enjoy ourselves. So I try to be lighthearted in my chair and, you know, get really close to the webcam and, you know, whisper and do all these little things to try to get and engage, get the attention of and engage my students. The third ingredient is modeling. Now, this is a little bit more serious. When I heard this, and I have to let you know, these 4 ingredients are not mine, right? I told you that at the beginning of the episode. The 4 ingredients are actually taken from a colleague who got it from a colleague who got it from a conference. The conference originally was the ACTFul conference for foreign language teachers. And so I can't actually attribute it. I've looked and tried to figure out where this came from. I think it was just cited in a speech. So I apologize. I can't give you the original citation for these 4 ingredients, but they're pretty amazing. And they've really helped me stay sane, have fun, connect with my students. And this third one's called modeling, right? Every teacher models almost everything, right? We have to. We give directions, we have to stop, we have to model and show them what we're intending, show our students what we're intending, so we don't have to do it multiple times. We don't have to tell them multiple times. We try to write out our instructions, but then we need to model that. We need to show them an example of what we're talking about. Now, oftentimes I go way too fast and I skip this step. I skip it more often in in-person learning than I have in virtual learning because I can't even see my students. So I'm not even sure if they're understanding. So I'm having check for understandings. Hey, write in the chat, in our Google Meet chat, give me a thumbs up or a 1 to 5, how well you're understanding what we're doing. Some sort of thing to check in with them so that I know what they're doing. Go slow to go fast. Model everything. And I found that the success of the learning and the success of the student engagement has been relatively high over these past few months. And I think it's attributed to this modeling, this going slow to going fast. The last one, and this is the one that's really hard for me as a high school teacher, but it's a little easier because I'm a world language teacher and I have to be an actor using my hands and showing the meaning of words without explicitly giving the definition of them. So this is a little bit more natural in a world language classroom, but if you teach social studies, this might not come naturally to you. Right? If you teach English, maybe a little bit more naturally. Math, certainly not. My dad was a math teacher for 52 years. I don't know if he did physical engagement his entire 52 years, and that's fine. But in virtual learning, we're needing this. Cameras are off, so I'm not entirely sure, just quick little note, if students are doing this, but we're giving them the opportunity to do it. Physical engagement, what do I mean by this? Thumbs up, thumbs down, actually getting their body moving. A fist of 5, right? Where they turn their camera on and then they show me 1 to 5, how do they understand it or how much are they enjoying what we're talking about? Go find something in their room and bring it back and then show it to us. Another thing that I've done is participate while standing, right? To get the blood flowing. So that physical element is they're not falling asleep, they're staying engaged. And this is only in 45 minutes. I don't have my students on synchronous learning for longer than 30 minutes or 45 minutes. And then they go on and do their asynchronous work, right? Their individual work. I try to stop and do a quick exercise. So currently what I'm working on right now is we're all prepping for finals, right? High schoolers take finals, and we're doing that through verb boot camp, where we're teaching verbs, but through this idea of boot camp. The main premise of boot camp is that it's a double entendre. We're doing all these exercises and trying to have fun. I'm being like a drill sergeant and occasionally being, very, very mean to my students and yelling at them with a big smile on my face, which I'm not serious about, and engaging them that way. But we're also trying to engage them through physical engagement. Well, at the beginning and in the middle of each of our mini lessons, our workshops around verbs and how they work in the present and past tenses, I am doing little push-ups for them, and being inclusive. If somebody can't do a push-up or struggles with it, I'm just doing the arm push-ups or different things like that. But I'm having a bunch of students get on the floor and do push-ups with us. And instead of just counting to 10, in Spanish, great practice counting in early level Spanish, we're doing, verb endings. So we're saying, oh, vamos, ahí, we're putting those verb endings to it. It's just a ton of fun. And I think I'm seeing students are so engaged and with that physical element. We think often high schoolers just want to sit there and twiddle their thumbs. No, they don't. They're just big kids. They're just big kids. They like the engagement, especially the freshmen and sophomores that I teach. But if you're listening to this and you're a junior and senior teacher, I've taught them too. They like this too. You have to couch it a little bit differently, right? Be a little bit more funny about it. The other thing that I was told, and this will be the final thing, is have them write and take notes on paper, right? Do a project off the computer. Try to get them to physically engage with their learning with a book, with paper, with a project. And this is something that I think is a key. They are on the screens all the time. Are they not? How many hours are they on the screen? 7, 8 plus hours? Too much screen time. And now all of a sudden we're having learning almost entirely on a screen. Anytime we as teachers can they move their eyes off the screen, it's a win. It's huge. All right, so those are the 4 ingredients. To summarize, connection. Connect with our students on a real and personal level, consistently, every day. It works. Number 2, inject as much humor and joy as we can. This is the time now than ever. We have to be joyful and humorous. Don't be inauthentic about it, but try to bring something funny or joyful to each lesson. Number 3, I've been trying to model as much as possible. and man, it's been paying off. I have had very little recapitulation of instructions or anything. It's been pretty good. Go slow to go fast. And number 4, physical engagement. Get them up off the computer, eyes off the computer, physically engaging with the learning. And all of those things I've been trying. I haven't done all 4 every single lesson. No way. But anytime I can connect, add humor, slow down and model, or do physical engagement, I think the lesson goes a little bit better. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of An Unconventional Teacher. We hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed producing it. This is a project to pay it forward to the educators out there seeking something different. If you are or have someone in your world that is an unconventional teacher, please send their name to anunconventionalteacher@gmail.com and we can work to get them on this show. Also, please join us on Instagram and Twitter at An Unconventional Teacher and be a part of the growing movement to embrace the different. As I tell each class that I teach at the end of our time together, vive como si fuera su último día. Live like it were your last day. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.